You're watching Chicago Bears Now. I am Harrison Graham. Give me a follow on Twitter at HGrahamNFL. More Bears and NFL news and rumors over there. We got a Bears rumors roundup for you guys, so let's go ahead and jump on in. Do the Bears have a better chance at Russell Wilson now that Dak Prescott has been signed by the Cowboys? Two smoking Jays, maybe, but I don't know how real this actually is. That's why I'll give it two smoking Jays on this one. This was really circulating on Twitter. My rumor origin, process of elimination, right? Because the Bears were one of the four teams Russell Wilson named as a preferred trade destination if he gets traded. That's a big if. He still is open to returning to Chicago. But I will concede the Cowboys are now out because they have signed Dak Prescott to a long-term deal. So that leaves the Bears, the Raiders, and the Saints. We are down to three, and then obviously a fourth team, the Seattle Seahawks, if he does not get traded. I think there's a little bit of truth to this. It certainly doesn't hurt now that Dak Prescott is off the market, making the Cowboys out of the Russell Wilson sweepstakes. The list is shrinking. The list is definitely shrinking for Russell Wilson. Plus, we also have a tweet from Dov Kleiman that I wanted to bring up here as well. He basically says he doesn't see a scenario where the Raiders make a move for Russell Wilson, which could lead you to believe now that there's two other teams other than Seattle that could be a fit for Russ. Here's Dov on this one with the Cowboys out of the Wilson picture after inking Dak Prescott, and now the Raiders getting rid of three offensive linemen. The Raiders have cut or traded three starters in the last couple of days here. That becomes a less appealing situation for Russ. Dov believes it's down to the Bears and Saints outside of Seattle at this point. So keep that in mind. He's not really reporting anything there. He's just bringing up the fact that the Cowboys are out with Dak Prescott. The Raiders seem like a long shot now that they have cut some offensive linemen. And, by the way, all along, the Raiders have seemed pretty committed to Derek Carr. That's why we haven't talked about him a ton here on Chicago Bears Now. And the Saints, I'll add, are in a bad cap situation, way worse than the Bears. So maybe it is Seattle or Chicago at this point. We'll let you guys answer. We'll consider all four still in the mix here. Where will Russell Wilson play in 2021? Type SEA for Seattle, type CHI for the Bears, type LV for the Raiders, and type NO for the New Orleans Saints. Here's what I know. I think the Bears are going to make a big push. I think they're already making a big push. There's been chatter that they have their sights set on Russell Wilson, which makes some sense, right? Because the Texans are playing hardball with Deshaun Watson. They're slow playing things, whereas it's been reported that Seattle is at least taking calls on Wilson. Now, they're not actively shopping him, at least not as of yet, but they are taking calls, which is something to keep in mind. And Russell Wilson, as we've talked about several times, would be great in Chicago. They should push for Russell Wilson because he would be a franchise quarterback that this city has literally never had in the history of their franchise. I think Pace and Nagy like this idea of bringing him on board. I certainly like the idea of bringing him to Chicago. He threw for 40 touchdowns this past season, something a Bears quarterback has never done. 4,200 yards, which is also something a Bears quarterback has never won. And I've been a Russell Wilson ripper, I guess you could say, in the past. I've ripped on him some, but all the guy does is win games. The guy is a proven winner. He's been to 2 Super Bowls. He won 1. Even in recent years, as the defense got worse and worse, he still led this team to the playoffs year in and year out, has only missed the postseason once in his NFL career. You get Russell Wilson on board, you're an instant Super Bowl contender with what you have in place, especially if Allen Robinson is here. So, Bears are going to push hard. I don't know how much better the chances are now that Dak has signed with the Cowboys, but it's definitely not a worse chance, so that is something to be positive about. Get subscribed to Chicago Bears Now. You see the link on screen. It's youtube.com/Bears Now. Daily Chicago Bears videos covering the latest news, rumors, quarterback talk. That is certainly not going away. So subscribe and don't miss any of it here on Bears Now. We take a look at the Smokin' Jay rumor meter. We gave that last one 2 Smokin' Jays. People are talking. Maybe it's true, maybe it's not. Who really knows? 0 Smokin' Jay, it's fake news. 1 Smokin' Jay, that's barely truth. There's probably a small piece of truth in there, but it's unlikely. 3 Smokin' Jays, it's pretty likely. It's not a sure thing, but it's better than 50-50 chance. And then 4 Smokin' Jays, bear down because it is happening. How about a Khalil Mack trade? How many Smokin' Jays on this one? I'll give this one too as well. People are talking. This idea has been thrown out there, especially when it comes to getting a franchise quarterback, that you may have to trade Khalil Mack to secure one of these guys, and one of these guys being Russell Wilson or Deshaun Watson. Mike Florio threw this out a couple of days ago, but this one's been circulating for the better part of a couple of months, of which, hey, especially with what the Texans said a few months ago, or what was reported of those who cover the Texans, that they're going to want some young star talent in return. Now, Mac's not super young, but at 30 years old, this is still a superstar talent and has a lot of value and a lot left in the tank for any team who would want to trade for him. So I think trading Mac could be a possibility if you want to get one of these top quarterbacks. And quite frankly, I think trading Khalil Mack is worth it if it's for one of these two guys, Russell Wilson or Deshaun Watson. I'm not sending him for Sam Darnold or Jimmy G or something crazy. That's crazy talk. But if you get Wilson or Watson, you instantly have a top 7 NFL quarterback and you become a Super Bowl contender the next day. Yeah, losing Khalil Mack would hurt. I'm sorry, the offensive gain from getting one of these quarterbacks versus the defensive loss isn't even close. Mac's a great player. Guys like Aaron Donald are great players. They're not worth top 5 quarterbacks in the National Football League. They're just not. You can't impact the game the way a quarterback can. That's just how this sport works, okay? If you lose Khalil Mack for Russell Wilson or Deshaun Watson, I don't want to see you guys freaking out, even though I'm sure some of you guys will. It'll be fine. This offense will ball the F out, and I still think the defense will be good because I think the scheme will be better under Sean Desai, and you'll be just fine. I don't want to lose Khalil Mack, but if I have to get Deshaun Watson or Russell Wilson, sign me up. I'm doing that in a heartbeat. Would you trade Khalil Mack for Deshaun Watson or Russell Wilson? Type Y for yes, type N for no. I've been pretty clear. I would type my Y for yes because it is absolutely worth it at the end of the day if you are the Chicago Bears. And just to reemphasize, by the way, no one's untradeable on this football team. We should make that very, very clear for a couple of reasons. One, you need a quarterback, so no one should be untradeable. And two, you've got a GM and a head coach on the hot seat. They need to be aggressive. Now, again, they need to be waned in. You can't overtrade for a Sam Darnold, a Jimmy G, or one of these other guys, but no one's untradeable when it comes to Russell Wilson or Deshaun Watson. Like, these are unique situations in which you have quarterbacks in their prime or entering their prime in Watson's case, and Wilson at 32 still has plenty left in the tank as well. They're dual threats, they're dynamic, they're accurate. They are so much better than what this team has had ever, and much less recently, which has been really, really bad since Smokin' Jay Cutler was under center. I think Khalil Mack, if he has to go in a trade for one of those two, appreciate the few years of service. We'll maybe he'll get a warm welcome his next game at Soldier Field. But if that's the cost of business, that is the cost of business, if you ask me. Pick a quarterback. These are still the two that we'll focus on until they are off the market. Type RW for Russell Wilson. Type DW for Deshaun Watson. I've been consistent. I would still prefer Deshaun, but I do think Russell's more realistic because Seattle's at least taking calls, and he's a little bit older, so maybe they're a little bit more willing to at least consider a trade for him. Something I'm definitely considering and have already taken advantage of is this St. Paddy's Day deal with our partner Fanatics. Go to that link below, chatsports.com/BearsGreen. We have tons of Bears-themed gear for St. Patrick's Day. T-shirts, women's tees, long sleeve, short sleeve, socks, all kinds of stuff available at chatsports.com/BearsGreen. Get in on the fun. St. Paddy's Day is almost here, and represent the Bears while you don't get pinched on St. Paddy's Day. Is Allen Robinson going to demand a trade? Hey, we're consistent today. Two Smokin' Jays, definitely think it's possible. People are talking, a.k.a. Allen Robinson from February is definitely talking, and now I'm going to talk about it because you got to think it's at least possible, right? With how he's kind of been recently. He's been looser on social media. He's been taking more interviews and has opened up about how he's felt about this whole situation. Allen Robinson said back in February in an interview with Tyler Dunn that he would not rule out a trade if he gets tagged by the Chicago Bears. Now, again, I want to remind you guys that a long-term deal can still happen until July 15th, but tagging him or demanding a trade is definitely an option. I would not rule it out if you're Allen Robinson. Look, Two Smoking Jays, don't freak out. It's possible. This is a receiver who's upset. This is a guy who thinks he deserves a long-term deal, and his production would suggest that he deserves those things, yet Ryan Pace and the Bears have not budged. They've tagged him. They haven't spoken with Robinson and his agent reportedly since September about a long-term deal. He's frustrated. Don't rule out Allen Robinson demanding a trade at some point in time. He said so as recently as February 18th when he got asked by Tyler Dunn. He said, it's definitely an option. That sounds like a guy who would consider that route if you ask me. And now that he has been officially franchise tagged, we'll just have to wait and see how the next few days go. I'll say this, if he's still under the tag come minicamp time, he's not going to report. Maybe he'll report to training camp, but why would he do any of the voluntary offseason stuff? I don't think that's very realistic. Hopefully the Bears get a quarterback and can renegotiate with Allen Robinson because a happy A-Rob is good for everyone involved. Will Allen Robinson demand a trade? Type 1 for yes, type 2 for no. Man, I'm going to say 2 for no, but I'm not confident in it. I think it's very possible. That's why I gave it 2 Smoking Jays. Can't give it 3 because, I can't lean one way or another. I'll type 2 for now, but this is going to be one to monitor over the next few days and weeks. And the reason he might do it is because he's been this productive and a contract hasn't come his way. $18 million, which is what the franchise tag number would be, that's below market value for what he's produced. Simple as that. I think he deserves Amari Cooper money, $20, $21 million per year on a long-term deal. He deserves security of guaranteed money, which $18 million per year or for the franchise tag, you're saying, oh, it's only a couple million less. The cap's going down this year. But yeah, it's about the guarantees, guys. He wants to get that $50, $60 million guaranteed, so he's taken care of. You get that deal in the NFL, you're good for life. And he has not quite gotten that major deal. He got $342 last time around. He gets one more. He has secured not only his, but his family future as well. Now, the good news is both sides have until July 15th to get a deal done. Hashtag sign AR if you want to make it happen like I do. Hopefully both sides can get involved. Tweet it, spam the comments, hashtag sign AR. Let's talk Kyle Long here on Bears Now by Chat Sports. Could a reunion happen? Well, let's give you the background info first. Long is making a return to the NFL, which caught many by surprise after he retired following the 2019 NFL season after 7 seasons in Chicago. A lot of injuries piled up, and many are wondering, hey, could the Bears bring back their longtime offensive lineman? He's reportedly in shape, 315 pounds, and is ready to play in 2021. This is interesting, to say the least. I did not see this one coming. He seemed pretty committed to being retired. I think at one point he lost 40 or 50 pounds. Like, he was not in offensive line weight whatsoever, but clearly he's been training the last several months to get back into the NFL. Sounds like his injuries are taken care of, and he wants to give it another run in the National Football League. More thoughts on this in just a moment, but first I want to kind of get your thoughts on it. Should the Bears try to sign Kyle Long? The reason I say try is things didn't end so well. Type S for sign, that you should try to sign him, or type P for pass. That ship has sailed. The Bears should go in another direction. I'm not opposed to trying to sign Kyle Long, who, by the way, I should mention is a free agent. The Bears released him following his retirement just as a procedural manner, so any team can sign him. I'd explore it, but I don't think it's very likely. Kyle Long has actually publicly, I'll just say ripped this staff since he retired. He said, I've supported this staff and the roster and the media since being released, believe in the team and the coaches, but that doesn't mean I would want to play for them. This was back in June, before this past NFL season. He's hopped on a lot of Bears-related shows over the past 12 months and has made it clear he's not the biggest fan of Matt Nagy and Ryan Pace. So with this current regime, it seems unlikely, but that doesn't mean that neither side could explore it. He's also mentioned in the past that he does love playing for the city of Chicago. The problem here is, and another reason I don't think it's very likely, is he retired not just because he didn't like the staff, but because the injuries just wouldn't go away. He was a Pro Bowler his first 3 years of his career, 2013 to 15. His last 4 years, though, he missed over half the games total. Missed 8 games in 16, 6 in 17, 8 in 18, 12 in 2019, and the guy had like every injury in the book. He had back issues. He tore his labrum, I think twice, had some knee problems. Like, Kyle Long could not stay healthy, and a lot of those games he did play, he wasn't 100%. He hasn't been 100% since probably 2015. You know, they're saying he's in good shape, he's been working out, blah, blah, blah. But once you kind of get the injury bug, it doesn't really go away, especially for offensive linemen. So I'll be curious to see what his market is. I'm going to give it 1 Smokin' J, which means it's barely true. It could happen, but it's pretty unlikely for a lot of those reasons I just gave. The injuries and the relationship between the franchise and Long did not exactly end with flying colors when he retired following 2019. So give me a percent on this one. Percent chance of a Kyle Long reunion in Chicago. 0 to 100. I'll give it 4%, which is technically 1 Smokin' J. So don't think it's likely. It's a long shot. I think other teams will show interest and bring him into camp, and I don't think the Bears will be one of those teams.